Now what, Pelenar? Now what are you to do? Well, perhaps the first thing you can do is stop talking to yourself like some kind of idiot and take a moment to get out of the rain. This looks like it might be an inn of sorts. Perhaps I can find refuge from the downpour. True, I do not feel the cold as I once did, but I do not appreciate being wet. Shall we see what lies inside? Let us take a room for the night, and perhaps the day.
Welcome. Let me know if you want.
I certainly will, good fellow. Tell me.
If you need a Mirlo room, I've got both.
A room.
Like those eyes you got. There's a bad hunger to them.
Is there now?
Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
Thank you. I shan't partake of any of your other offerings.
I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
My father, Ralki, manages the inn.
Let me know if there's anything else you need.
Just some privacy, if you would. Now. Let us get out of these... this wet hood, at least. Why am I still holding on to these? Yeah. I guess they're good as a backup. Very well. Now... Pelenar, think. Think. There's so much to understand. How did I come to this? I remember leaving Somerset. It was beautiful, I think. Yes, it was. The sky was clear and blue, and the water calm. Yes. I remember waiting on the dock with the others. What were their names? There was... Il? No. Khalil. Yes, Khalil was there, fully decked out in his armor. I remember that, yes. And the others, they were... I can't remember who they were. I do, however, remember the mission. The High Council was very clear. What was it they said? Oh yes. Prior to rounding the coast and sailing into the inlet for Solitude, you and your party will row ashore under the cover of darkness and make your way to the embassy. That were their words. I remember them clearly. They wanted our arrival to be discreet. And that is what we did. We rowed ashore. The waters, they were so cold. I remember feeling the sand of the icy shore beneath the boat when we landed. The land was so foreign and unwelcoming. You could feel it. We gathered our things and cautiously followed the paths up toward the embassy, nearly getting lost on a number of occasions. The night was quiet, I remember that. And Tassa, yes, Tassa, she was with. Tassa commented on the stillness as we climbed to the embassy. No sooner did the words leave her mouth that we found ourselves surrounded. Vampires. It happened so quickly. Before I knew it, 2 of my party were dead. But we fought back, and soon their number began to fall as well. But they were so strong and swift. It was all such a blur. I remember smiting one with my greatsword, and then collapsing and gasping for breath. I tried to call to the others, but there was no answer. I looked up through bleary eyes and saw none standing, friend or foe. And then darkness overtook me. I don't know how long I lay in the snow, and I don't know how I got to the embassy. But I remember its welcoming wrought iron gate and stonework, and the warmth of the hall. But then nothing more. Not until the dungeons. Elwyn, standing over me, glowering. "A letter," she said. "A letter from the High Council." But they gave me no such letter. I was set up. Who could have done this? And why? No matter. Well, no matter. right now. The Thalmor are corrupt. That is plain to see. They have lost their purpose, their way. But I have not. I will bring them back. I will bring back the glory of the Dominion. But first... first, they and this land must be purged. I wonder who else is here. I don't recall anyone when I arrived. No, empty.
My father.
I imagine it's the weather.
He used to be a soldier, but
Well,
left that life behind.
yes. Good for him. Excuse me. Now, where to go next? Pardon me.
The skin's as pale as the snow.
Yes.
Sunlight or something?
So, tell me,
I only take real coin here. No handouts and no bartering.
if I were to be looking for work, where might I go?
Here, take a look at this. Some of the Jarl's men came by and left this bounty letter.
The Jarls, which one? I'm a foreigner to these lands. Heard anything interesting?
They say Fallion and Morthal studied vampires. Draugr and all matter of undead.
Is that so? Perhaps I should go give this Fallion a visit. Well, thank you very much for your conversation.
People say there's someone in Riften that can change your face.
Yes.
Make you look completely different. Do you believe that?
I know a number of people that might be able to do such a thing, but no one has ever appreciated the results.
Until next time.
Yes. I will be staying here all night and most of the day, if you don't mind. I must try to get some rest if I can. Ah, it sounds as if the rain has stopped.
Seems like only yesterday they were newborn babes.
They've grown all right. Lazier and more stupid.
There's times I think you're the coldest man in Skyrim. This is your own flesh and blood you're talking about.
My father, Ralki, manages the inn. He used to be a soldier, but he left that life behind.
Morthal, tell me, young man, excuse me.
You look like you've seen your share of adventure. I envy you that. In fact, maybe
Nothing to envy, trust me. On second thought, perhaps a bit. But really, can you direct me towards Morthal? No? Ah, very well.
Until next time.
I shall have to find it on my own.
I'm not saying it's my business, but I have to ask.
It is not your business. The sun is beyond the horizon. Excellent. Pardon me.
If you've got some business in Rorikstead, you should start by speaking to Juan.
Roekstead. So that is where we are. I should probably take note. What inn is this anyway? Frostfruit. Very well. Ah, the moon is beautiful. Is it not? Morthal. Morthal. Where would this Morthal be from here? Oh, what have we here? Well.
Stay out of trouble, Elf.
Very well. No. I can't. Not with the gods here. No. No. No, I won't. But there are... No, I cannot. I cannot. I must. Quickly. Ah, yes. Well, what have you? Septums and a potion. I don't know who you are, why you are here, but I must go. I must go. I must go. Morthal. Morthal. Where is this Morthal? Come, vermin. Oh, yes. The Dominion has reached a new stage. They just have not realized it yet. Morthal. Morthal. We're off to Morthal. Good evening. Ah, so it is. So it is. Wait. Solitude. Good to know. Ah, beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Let me try that again. Hello and welcome. My name is Joe and I am the Panicked Monk. And you are watching Decayed. We are about to get into our... I don't know if we would consider Pelenar an antagonist or a protagonist. At this point, it's kind of hard to say, isn't it? We know that he is devout to the Thalmor and their tenants. Something that I personally am looking forward to delving into. I don't personally know a lot about the Thalmor tenants and the Dominion. It has reached several different levels. I think, if memory serves, we are in the 3rd Dominion insofar as the Thalmor are concerned. So really, what does that mean? Let's slow time down a bit, shall we? We're going to slow it down to a 1. So that's going to give us a 1 for 1. 1 minute of game equals 1 minute of real time. I kind of want to talk a little bit about Pelenar and our story, and we're going to level up. We. I don't know why I use we. Perhaps it's a throwback from growing up, you know, the singular we my father always used, you know, such as, we should really get that grass cut. That's the singular we, meaning go cut the grass. Anyway, let's do this. We'll slow down time so the night doesn't pass so much. And let's just for dramatic effect, let's set the oh my gosh. Oh no. I got it all wrong. Okay. This is always at 1. This is the global time multiplier. So this is where we get our slow-mo effects. I don't know what I'm thinking. Let's bring that down to point. I don't know. 0.1. 1/10. So this gives our nice dramatic slow-mo effect. And what is it? Set. That's what it is. Set time scale. That's the one I wanted. Set time scale to 1. This gives us our 1-to-1 real time. Normally, as many of you know, the game is set to a time scale of 20. So every minute of real time equals 20 minutes of game time. I believe that's how it works. So that's the default, and for the most part, that works fine. But I want to slow down everything just a little bit so that we can chat. So here we have our pro-antagonist, Pelenar. And I'm going to do a face light real quick for some reason. Oh, come on. We slowed down time, so this is taking a bit. Oh, face light target. No, that's not what I wanted. You dummy. Alright, let's try this again. Never mind the man behind the curtain. Hold on. Let's do this. Alright. And one more time. So, as you can tell, Pelenar is a vampire and became a vampire from an attack on his party when he landed ashore just north of the embassy down on the shoreline. So as his party tried to make their way to... Oh, for crying out loud. Did I already have it on? Oh, this is confounded. You know what? I'm going to leave all of this in because sometimes it's kind of interesting. Maybe not so much. Oh, for God's sake. I kind of want the moon behind him. Sometimes it's kind of fun to see the sausage making, as the couch warrior might refer to it. Alright, this is our face light. It is a mod, and it really, all it does is it adds a light to the character's face. Yeah, I think it's kind of a weird lighting, ambient light right at the moment, so it's hard to really see, but yeah, I think it's on there. You'll notice it when you come up close to doors and other objects. It'll kind of light them. So that's what that's all about. But it's nice to actually see the character's face. So that's kind of why I like it. It has the target, which I did by mistake first time. So I can target various other characters with the face light. So when I'm interacting, you can see it. I have a whole bunch of other mods going on. They are in the show notes. That is, there's a link to a document with all of the mods that I'm currently running in this playthrough. So if you're interested, you can check that out. But let's talk about Pelenar a little bit. What we know, and there's a lot more to Pelenar than I am going to talk about right now. That's going to be part of the story as we move forward. So, Pelenar was born and raised and citizen of the Somerset Isles. We saw that in the opening when he was with his party, ready to make their way to Skyrim. That actually comes from a mod called, I don't remember what it's called. You have to look at the notes, but it's Somerset Isles something or another. The mod, for my purposes, is something that I will be using as a backdrop for various flashbacks and just points of interest on Pelenar's character and his history when I feel it's necessary or prudent, and will add life to his story. So I will be using that mod in that way. So if you're wondering where this stuff is and or where it came from, that's the mod where I got the doc and the background of the city that he was in. So Pelenar is an Altmer and a very devout Thalmor agent right now. He wasn't always. There were some things in his past that we will get into at some point that brought him to this stage in his life where he embraced the Thalmor beliefs. So that will be coming up sprinkled throughout. But at the moment, he is a Thalmor knight. I don't know, as I mentioned, I don't know a lot about the Thalmor lore, but I'm going to make a little bit up as I go. And part of that is he is a Thalmor knight, and he is, or was, an aspiring knight to become a justiciar. He did not make that rank, but that was his goal. He really wanted to be in a position where he could bring forth the tenets of the Dominion to their fullest and have this far-reaching authority to do so. But he never did make that rank. So he is currently a knight, a fallen knight. So he's not a knight or anything. The Thalmor have abandoned basically him. They do not recognize him. It's like kind of, wiping out all of the names. So if you go back to like ancient Egypt, or I think a lot of cultures perhaps did this, but the current ruling class would often deface and carve out the names of their predecessors, trying to erase them from history. So that's kind of where Pelenar is. He is no longer recognized by the Thalmor as an agent. He is just another Altmer. And probably a little worse than that, in that he is an Altmer that is accused of essentially murdering 5 Thalmor agents, knights and justiciars. Well, that's actually a good question. Would he have been in charge of justiciars? Probably not. So his party would have been made up of Thalmor agents, knights, and lesser. So I haven't really thought much about the hierarchy that I want to present, but I am kind of thinking in my mind's eye that a Thalmor knight would be very close in rank to a justiciar. So there might be a little, when you talk about Thalmor, there's always more than just a little. There's a lot of political sway that goes one way or another. So we may get into some of that. We may not. We'll see. We'll kind of see where the character takes us. But right now, Pelenar is coming into his own. He is discovering his powers. He is being led by these voices in his head, in his conscience. He doesn't know where these voices are coming from. There's 2 very distinct voices, one male, one female, and he's not sure what to make of it. So the relationship is really interesting in that the female seems to be nurturing. This feminine voice in his head seems to be nurturing, trying to help him and come to grip with what he is, and that is a vampire. While the male voice is mocking, almost, chiding him along. So he's wrestling with these 2 voices, and he's almost certain that they're not constructs of his own imagination. They are so very different from his own that he believes them to be very much outside the realm of his own psyche. So he does not believe he's losing his mind, but he is confused as to who these voices belong to and why they are contacting him. Why are they intervening with him specifically? So he's confused, yet he's excited at the same time. The powers that he has developed or is discovering as a vampire, he is seeing the potential that they offer. He has also seen the drawbacks and has felt the sting of the sun and the energy that it fills the sky with. And even though this voice, this feminine voice, had said it'll be okay, it won't, basically, it'll get better, it won't last forever, he's still very cautious and will be for quite some time about traveling in the daylight. Which brings to point, because of some of the other environmental mods that I am running, nighttime becomes extremely dark in my game as it is currently set up. So when he is outside in the world space traveling, I will almost always be using night vision, which, it's a vampiric trait and an ability, and it's just going to kind of kick on. So that's how I'm going to play it, is that it's kind of an auto sense. It's going to enable itself when it needs to. And he's not sure how or why that happens, but he knows that it's part of his newfound abilities, and he's going to use it to the fullest. So traveling at night will not be so perilous as it might otherwise be. And I'm sure that there will be a sense of that pitch blackness as I toggle between night vision and standard vision. And you can always tell if he is in night vision, his eyes will glow, and that is a effect of the better vampires. So his eyes will always glow when he's in night vision, and they will always be glowing when he is in combat. When he is just normal, everyday Pelenar, they will be that kind of bright blue that you see. What else? Right now, I think that's probably about it. He needs to improve his armor and his weapons. He is not accustomed to using one-handed weapons. He is a two-handed fighter. So he is going to be looking for a place where he can either purchase or smith a two-handed weapon. That is his preference, and that is how he is going to approach combat. He is a knight at heart, and is going to approach combat as a knight. Full on, in your face, come and get me kind of attitude. But he is enjoying his vampiric touches. Being Altmer, he does have spell abilities. It's kind of innate to the Altmer race. And, he's not afraid or ashamed to use those abilities as a knight. They're just another tool in the toolbox. So he's going to have a little bit of a combination of a spell, ranged, probably crossbow, and two-handed melee. So that will be kind of his style, but he's not really geared up to do that at the moment. He will be specialized in light armor, because the armor sets of the elves, the Altmer, are almost all light. If you look at all the Thalmor armor sets, the glass armors that he would have been used to, they're all considered light armor. So that is what he will specialize in, which will actually benefit him in some of his sneaking abilities as a vampire. So it won't have the same protection perhaps as some of the other heavy armors, but that's what it is. That's what he's accustomed to and can use most effectively. So light armor, two-handed weapons, crossbow, destruction spells. He's going to stay away from fire. He's not going to be able to use fire. He can use it, but it's going to hurt him. So he will stay away from that. He'll probably migrate towards cold-based spells as a vampire, but not exclusively. He won't be a specialist in cold-based spells. At least I don't foresee it. That might change. We'll see. So with that, let's level up, shall we? Oops. Wrong button. There we go. There we go. So, he is not starting out at level 1, as you can see. I did do a little bit of leveling prior to the start of the game. I felt that if he is a knight in a position of authority enough to lead a party, that he's going to need to be a little more skilled than a first level character would. So I did go in and boost him a little bit, but not much. As you can see, he's 6th level right now, so I think we'll probably focus on health and stamina at the moment. Let's go for health. And I think, well, let's go around the board here. I've already invested in smithing. I have one of 2 there, so I could take one more. That would probably be a good choice. Smithing is always good. Heavy armor, no. Block. Eventually, we might take some block. Two-handed, definitely. I've already taken 2 for 2 there, so I'm ready to move up. Whether any of these, I'm not sure. So let's take a look at these real quick. We have trained fighter, so that reduces our stamina cost. I like that. This is battle axe, so let's look at this. Okay, this is two-handed weapons, so trained fighter is an option. Bleed like a dog is axes. No. Crushing blows is with warhammers. No. Clash of Heroes with great swords. Yes, that is an option. Remember, we're going for two-handed weapons, specifically great swords. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. Great swords is what Pelenar is specialized in, or will be. We can't take it yet, but Ferocious Strength is also two-handed weapons. So, Ferocious Strength is an option. Come on. Ferocious Strength, Trained Fighter, and Clash of Heroes. So, any one of those first two, Clash of Heroes or... Now, what was it again? Trained Fighter are options at the moment. Even though I don't have a two-handed weapon, it still would make sense to take a two-handed skill or a two-handed perk given his background. One-handed, I think I did take one-handed just as a... Oh, I did not. I thought I did. But it's an option just to... Because knights were fairly well-rounded. They weren't quite the Swiss Army knife, if you will, and pick up everything, but I think they were fairly well-rounded, so they were adept at a lot of different types of weaponry. One-handed for sure, if you can think of, your horse battles with a one-handed weapon, so that's an option. I won't go far up the one-handed tree, but it is an option to keep him well-rounded. Archery, I would take minimally. He's going to be okay with a bow, with not a bow necessarily, but a crossbow. I would like to have him some proficiency in a crossbow. But like one-handed, it's not going to be a focal point. Light armor, definitely. He is going to be skilled in light armor. As you can see, I've already gone up both levels in the base. Annoying mosquitoes. What is that? 10% less attack damage from enemies with full health if wearing all light armor. That's a pretty good side perk. Iron Fist. Unarmed damage. I don't ever plan on... Oh, wait. Damage by... Increases unarmed damage by 5%. I don't plan on doing unarmed damage. Light armor fit. Yes. As a leaf. While sprinting in light armor, you cannot be staggered and take 50% less damage from power attacks. Possibly. Of these... Annoying mosquitoes and light armor fit are going to probably be the focal point. Sneak? Not really. I don't think I'll do any sneaking. Not that the character won't be able to. Sneaking is not necessarily... You don't think of a knight when you think of sneaking. Lockpicking, he's already done some lockpicking. This might just be not necessarily a class trait, if you will. This is not necessarily a knight thing, but it might be a personal interest. So I'll probably do a little bit of lockpicking in the skill tree. Pickpocket, no. Speech, yes. Pelenar is going to be good with words. I would like to put some time and effort into speech. He's going to be a person that is engaging, and he's going to have a charisma about him. At least that's kind of how I perceive the character. So speech is going to play a part in that. Alchemy. Alchemy is going to be important to understand poisons and remedies. Mostly remedies as a knight. Poisons maybe from a corrupted point of view. Maybe that's not something he was interested, but may pick up some interest in. Illusion, probably not. Conjuration, probably not. Destruction for sure. we will do some destruction and go up either the ionized path, which is lightning and shock, or cold, which is, of course, our frost-based spells. Force of Nature is kind of broad-based and is applicable to all types of magic destruction spells, depending on environment. Restoration, maybe a little bit of restoration. A little restoration goes a long way, right? As a knight, this would have been something worthwhile. As a corrupted knight, maybe his growth is stunted. I don't know. Maybe he gives up some of his restoration for poisons. Alteration, you could make an argument for it. I probably will not do a lot of alteration. Pelenar is going to rely on his armor, his physical armor, more than he will his magical armor, if you will. Enchanting, probably not. Well, no. Enchanting's going to be important, and he would know this is important for improving his armor and weapons. So enchanting is a yes. So where am I going to spend my one perk? I'm going to spend my one perk in destruction. So let's go around the horn. Come on. Nope. There it is. Destruction. Alright. There we go. And with the rumor of Morthal, let's just go ahead and F5. With the rumor of Morthal, that is Pelenar's next stop. Unless something comes up in between, but he is going to try to find his way to Morthal. Now we have to remember that Pelenar does not know the landscape. That would have been something he would have been briefed on at the embassy upon his arrival. But since that didn't happen, he doesn't know anything about this landscape, where the towns are. He knows where Solitude is. That's about it. He might know where Windhelm is. Maybe Whiterun he's heard of. But that's about it. He's not going to know where anything else is. So it's kind of a follow the signs and ask around. I might do one thing with Pelenar that I have not done in the past, and that I might bring up the map on occasion, as I feel when he gets to a point and can purchase a map, quote purchase, then he'll do that. He's definitely going to take advantage of that type of situation. So even though in game you can't necessarily buy a map, we can say that, for example, when he gets to just a general merchant like Belethor, he can buy a map, and then on occasion I might bring up the map to navigate the lands. But that's about it. So we are on our way to Morthal. Well, that's the plan, at least. Screen cap. And until next time, safe travels.
Another way to begin the story would be to start from the end. There's nothing left of the dream I perceive.